Give me some volume and go full screen.
What you know now, do you wish you had a third term? You know what? If I could make an arrangement where I had a stand-in, a front man or front woman, and they had an earpiece in, and I was just in my basement in my sweats looking through the stuff, and then I could sort of deliver the lines, but somebody else was doing all the talking and ceremony, I'd be fine with that.
We know he wasn't really running the country.
Yeah.
We used to think he was actually running the country, and now they're like, no, he didn't even see those executive orders. That was all
Obama, his CIA asked foreign agencies to spy on Trump's associates, and Roger Stone was one of those guys. If you think about it, this is the best way to do it. Have someone else do the dirt, and you get the goods. You know what I mean? So this report has not been confirmed by mainstream media, but why would they confirm it when they're all biased against Trump? So why? You know what I mean? It's obvious. So the people who reported it are credible as hell. Matt Taibbi and Mike Schellenberger. Do you know who the CIA director was at the time of all this? Guys, anybody? John Brennan, okay, Mr. Deep State himself. He despises Trump. And do you guys know what his job is right now? Ex-director of the CIA. Guess what he does right now? MSNBC analyst. And you know what they do? They just bash Trump every single turn he gets. He's been bashing him from the beginning. And if you hear the report from two credible reporters, it's not hard to believe that Trump was...
You're not going to believe this. Joe Rogan has directly called out Barack Obama after comments that many people felt painted a negative picture of America during his overseas appearances. Rogan didn't hold back at all. He questioned the image Obama presented to the public and suggested that the former president may not have been exactly who many Americans believed he was. Once you hear Rogan's full reaction, it's definitely going to spark a lot of discussion. But before we get into all of it, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss videos like this.
thirsty. Can I get a glass of water? This is not a prank. And he just takes, goes like this. You never seen it?
No.
Oh my God, it's amazing.
Oh,
it's amazing.
no.
It's amazing. He gets a glass of Flint tap water, and I swear to God, he drinks it like this. Watch this.
Can I get some water? Come on up here. Give me some water. I really did need a glass of water. This is not a stunt.
Usually when something isn't a stunt, you have to say
It's
that.
100% a stunt. When was the last time a president stopped a speech to ask, can I get a glass of water? Did it again. Here's another one. Watch how he did it this time. Watch he gets up to his mouth.
You know, generally I have not been doing stunts here, but, you know.
Oh, really?
But he didn't drink it.
Rogan basically sets the tone by arguing that Obama still relies on the same polished tactics to come across as relatable and likable in public. And to be fair, nobody really cares if someone takes a sip of water during a speech that's completely normal. But when you pause to grab water and then immediately point out that it wasn't a stunt, people are naturally going to raise an eyebrow. What really caught attention was that Obama seemed to repeat the exact same moment at another event. Once again, he made a point of saying it wasn't planned, except this time he barely even touched the water. With clips spreading online, critics began calling it more performance than spontaneity. Rogan's argument is that Obama spent years building a smooth, carefully crafted public image that people admired. But now, according to him, those small moments are making that image feel a lot more rehearsed than genuine.
Volume and go full screen.
What you know now, do you wish you had a third term? You know what? If I could make an arrangement where I had a stand-in, a front man or front woman, and they had an earpiece in, and I was just in my basement in my sweats looking through the stuff, and then I could sort of deliver the lines, but somebody else was doing all the talking and ceremony, I'd be fine with that.
We know he wasn't really running the country.
Yeah.
We used to think he was actually running the country, and now they're like, no, he didn't even see those executive orders.
Joe Rogan then took things even further, bringing up a point that caught a lot of people off guard. As questions around President Biden's health and leadership grew toward the end of his term, many critics started wondering who was really running the administration behind closed doors. Rogan leaned into that debate, suggesting that Biden often appeared disconnected during key moments and arguing that the public was seeing a presidency heavily managed by advisors and insiders. From there, he floated a much bigger theory that has been circulating online for years: the idea that Barack Obama still held significant influence behind the scenes. According to Rogan, it sometimes felt less like Biden was fully in charge and more like former Obama-era figures were still shaping the direction of the White House. Whether people agree with it or not, Rogan's comments definitely added fuel to an already heated political conversation.
Barack Obama was not a departure from George Bush. He was a continuation of George Bush. He took us from 2 wars to 7 wars. He kicked 5.1 million families out of their homes while he made sure the bankers didn't miss their bonuses. He deported twice as many Hispanics as Donald Trump. He built those cages that put those people in. He dropped 26,000 bombs. The Air Force ran out of bombs. That's a fact. They ran out of bombs. He dropped so many bombs. He did a drone program that killed 90% innocent people. You know, if somebody walks into a mall and shoots 15 people down with this gun, that's the biggest thing. Oh my God. Barack Obama was doing that on a daily basis, killing women and children with his drone war. And he got a Nobel Peace Prize. He got a Nobel Peace Prize. He didn't even do it.
Jimmy Dore takes the criticism even further and doesn't soften it at all. He argues that the public image Barack Obama built over the years was far more polished than the reality behind many of his policies. To a lot of people, Obama came across as calm, inspiring, and diplomatic, the kind of leader who could win over a crowd with a single speech. But Dore points to Obama's record to challenge that image. He brings up the large number of airstrikes carried out during the fight against ISIS and argues that those actions don't match the peaceful reputation many people associate with him. For Dore, there was a major gap between Obama's public branding and the decisions made during his presidency. That's really the core of his argument, that behind the speeches and carefully crafted image was a leader whose foreign policy remains deeply debated to this day.
Rob, can you type in Obama's net worth in 2007? What was Obama in 2007? 1.2 million, 1.3 million. Okay. So their net worth is, let's write this down. This is pre-White House. Their collective net worth was 1.3 million. Can you go to where their net worth was in 2016 when they're done being presidents? Okay. 2016. So their net worth, as expensive as it was, they went from being 1.3 million to 12.
Patrick Bet-David then shifts the conversation toward Barack Obama's financial rise after leaving office, a topic that always sparks debate. When Obama first entered the White House, reports estimated his net worth at a little over $1 million. Today, that figure is believed to be significantly higher, boosted by best-selling books, speaking engagements, media projects, and post-presidency investments. Supporters argue that this level of success isn't unusual for former presidents, especially someone with Obama's global recognition and popularity. But critics say the speed and scale of that wealth growth naturally raise questions about influence, connections, and the advantages that come with political power. PBD's point is that people often wonder how much of that success came purely from business ventures, and how much came from the network and influence built during years in politics. Fair or not, it's the kind of discussion that continues to follow many high-profile political figures long after they leave office.
I think they made a very smart move because Obamas have to have their show on Spotify, and Spotify doesn't have to pay them shit. Mm-hmm. They just have to be like, what are you talking about? I'm not going to pay you nothing. You're going to put it on here anyways because you have to mess with my audience.
Yep.
Okay. But the reason why we were willing to pay Rogan is because he agreed to be what? Exclusive. If you're willing to do exclusive, we'll pay you $25 and you do 1 or 2 episodes a week. But if you want to be able to put this everywhere, why the hell am I going to give you money? I ain't going to give you shit. Yep. And I think that's the right move they made. Good for.
The argument here is that the Obamas may have expected their influence and public profile to carry more weight during negotiations with Spotify. But in this case, Spotify reportedly chose not to continue the partnership, showing that even major political figures don't always get the outcome they want. That decision also led some critics to raise a broader question about Barack Obama's growing wealth after leaving office. While book deals, speaking engagements, media projects, and investments clearly explain a large portion of it, some people still wonder whether there are other business relationships or opportunities behind the scenes that the public doesn't fully see. Supporters would say this is simply what happens when a globally recognized former president builds a successful post-White House brand. Critics, on the other hand, argue that the scale of the earnings is enough to invite closer scrutiny. Either way, the discussion around money, influence, and political connections continues to follow high-profile leaders long after they leave office.
And I wanted to show us the following. So you know how you talked about Jerome Powell, what an easy job. You come once a month and he said, we're going to increase the rates.
Greatest job there is.
I think this is the one thing they don't talk about. So Barack Obama got elected November 4th. Okay, quantitative easing started November 26th.
Right.
And it stayed for 8 years until you got elected.
Right.
So if you look at that low, pretty much 0% interest rate.
Right.
And then you get elected, right? If you go to January 2016, Rob, for the audience to see that. And then from there, one by one, rates rates are going up, going up, going up, going up, going up. And then Biden comes in, goes back down to zero to try to save the economy. And then, the rest is obviously history.
Right.
But do you think the average person knows, like, the impact of going to 0%? How much does that positively help the impact when Fed lowers the rates to 0.5 point?
Yeah, it has a huge impact. The power of the Fed is, I think, pretty strong. Some people disagree with it. They think it's overridden by the interest rate climate. But I think the power of the Fed is very strong. It's an interesting graph.
The Federal Reserve adjusts interest rates based on how the economy is performing. During weaker economic periods, rates are typically lowered to encourage borrowing and spending. As the economy strengthens, rates are often raised again to help control inflation. Critics argue that Barack Obama received praise despite a slow recovery, while Donald Trump faced heavy criticism during a stronger economy. In their view, this suggests that media narratives and political bias can shape public perception just as much as the actual economic results themselves.
Look at he's doing the backstroke.
Yeah. Look, the story first said he didn't know how to swim. Then this came out that he knew how to swim. But I think it's just a little bit weird that all of a sudden chefs have a pattern of disappearing from 3 presidents that are very close to each
Pat,
other.
I'm all about patterns, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but isn't it weird? You tweet at Hillary yesterday, and all of a sudden, your plumbing something's wrong with your plumbing. I'm just throwing that out there, Pat. Something's wrong with his plumbing all of a sudden. In a multi-million-dollar house, all of a sudden, there's poop stuck in the pipes. I don't know, Pat. That's...
Suddenly you have a sewage fountain and reflecting pool in front. It's like,
that's Hillary. You saw what happened to Debbie Wasserman Schultz. She looks like an alien now. You got to be careful.
Some people are starting to question the polished image that once defined Barack Obama's public reputation. For years, he was widely seen as a symbol of hope, unity, and leadership. But now, critics like Joe Rogan and Patrick Bet-David are pointing to what they see as contradictions between that image and some of his past decisions and outcomes. Supporters still view him as a respected statesman with a strong legacy, while others argue the reality is more complex than the public narrative suggests. Either way, the debate around his legacy is clearly not going away anytime soon.
His CIA asked foreign agencies to spy on Trump's associates, and Roger Stone was one of those guys. If you think about it, this is the best way to do it. Have someone else do the dirt, and you get the goods. You know what I mean? So this report has not been confirmed by mainstream media, but why would they confirm it when they're all biased against Trump? So why? You know what I mean? It's obvious. So the people who reported it are credible as hell. Matt Taibbi and Mike Schellenberger. Do you know who the CIA director was at the time of all this? Guys, anybody? John Brennan, okay, Mr. Deep State himself. He despises Trump, and do you guys know what his job is right now? Ex-director of the CIA. Guess what he does right now? MSNBC analyst. And you know what they do? They just bash Trump every single turn he gets. He's been bashing him from the beginning, and if you hear the report from 2 credible reporters, it's not hard to believe that Trump was...
If what's being said here is even partly accurate, it naturally leads some people to reconsider the long-held image of Barack Obama. The calm, steady, and principled leader many remember can start to feel more like a carefully crafted public brand. At the same time, critics argue that mainstream media often overlooks or downplays certain stories, especially when political bias is involved. They point to past coverage of Donald Trump as an example, saying it received constant attention, while questions about other leaders don't always get the same level of focus. Supporters strongly disagree with that view, but the broader issue being raised is how much trust people place in media and how narratives are shaped that in the end, it leaves people divided with very different interpretations of the same events and legacies. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this.